Hello, I'm Dow Bartling, and welcome to another Dow's Weekly Digest. You know, one of the things I've always liked about history is that it doesn't use the people that maybe we expect. Sometimes history uses the wealthy, sometimes it uses the well-educated, and sometimes it uses the loud voice in the room. But just as often, history uses the person who simply says, I'm willing. And that's what strikes me about this final group of people connected to the Declaration of Independence. America wasn't built on one kind of person, not one age, not one background, not one personality, not one path. It took all kinds. Take Samuel Adams. Sam Adams, maybe we know them like I do through the beer. But what we may forget is that Samuel Adams died with very little money despite spending decades of public service. He didn't get rich off the revolution. He didn't treat public service as a business opportunity. He gave himself to a cause bigger than himself. Now that's something worth thinking. Because today we live in a world where people often they're listening to their own very, very personal YouTube channel. They're listening all the time. It's what I call WIIFM. WIIFM. What's in it for me? Samuel Adams reminds us that something of the most important work in life begins with a different question. Not WIIFM, but what can I give? Then there's George Taylor. George Taylor had once been an indentured servant. Think about that. He rose from the humble circumstances and eventually became one of the men connected with the founding of this nation. That's just not a historical footnote. That's possibility. That's the kind of story that says where you start does not have to determine where you finish. I've always believed that, whether that be in business, in family, in faith, in life. Your beginning matters, yes it does, but it does not get the final vote. And George White, he mentored Thomas Jefferson and was so respected by Mr. Jefferson that he called him my second father. Now I like that because legacy isn't always about yourself signing a big document. Sometimes legacy is built by shaping another person for their accomplishments. Sometimes your greatest contribution isn't what you personally accomplish. Sometimes it's who you encourage, who you teach, who you mentor, who you help become better than they were before they met you. And I've been in this business long enough to know that it's true. A good mentor can change a direction of a career. A good leader can change the confidence of a whole team. A good word at the right time can stay with someone for decades. Then there's William Whipple, Mr. Whipple. William Whipple, his story reminds us that conviction sometimes must grow deeper over time. He came to understand that slavery contradicted the principles of the document that he signed his name to. And so he freed the man that he had enslaved. That's a sober reminder. Sometimes people sign a principle, commit to a principle before they fully live up to it. And maybe that's true for all of us in one way or another. We say we believe in integrity, then life tells us, prove it. We say we believe in service, and then somebody needs us when it's inconvenient for us. We say we believe in courage, and then we face a moment where silence becomes too easy for us. Then we come to Roger Sherman. Now, Roger is remarkable because he was the only person to sign all 4 founding documents of our United States. Some people show up for one meeting. Some people show up for one campaign. Some people show up when it's exciting. But Roger Sherman, he kept showing up. And there's a lesson there. People who make the biggest difference are not always the flashiest people. A lot of times, they're the steady ones, the ones who keep showing up, who keep serving, who keep working, who keep believing. You know, there's a lot to be said for steady. And don't overlook Edward Rutledge. He was the youngest signer of the Declaration, just 26 years old. It tells me something too. Youth had a seat at the table. Energy had a place in the room. The future had a voice. Sometimes we assume that wisdom only comes with age. And while I have grown rather fond of age, mostly because I have so much of it and experienced it, we should never forget that young people can bring courage, urgency, and vision. A healthy organization needs both. It needs wisdom of experience, and it needs the energy of the next generation. Without one or the other, it's out of balance. America was not born because everyone was involved was the same. It was born because different people with different stories, different ages, different backgrounds, and different gifts were willing to commit themselves to something bigger than themselves. And that's true as a nation, it's true as a business, it's true as a team, it's true as a family, it's true as a community. You don't have to be the richest, you don't have to be the oldest, you don't have to be the youngest, you don't have to be the loudest, you don't have to be the first, but you do have to be willing. Willing to stand, willing to serve, willing to learn, willing to grow, willing to stay with the cause when the excitement wears off. Legacy belongs to the willing, not just the famous, not just the wealthy, not just the powerful. The willing. The people who step forward, the people who keep showing up, the people who do their part, the people who understand that commitment still matters. And as we continue the America 250 journey, from declaration to delivery, maybe that's the reminder we all need. The Declaration began with words, but history proved because people delivered that it's still here today. Remember this, blessed are they who ease the pain of misfortune, for they shall be called insurance agents. You take care.